Right. I think we've got a good crowd here. Thank you guys again for joining. My name is Meryl Angela Cola. I am the VP at GovDash, and we're really excited to tell you about everything that we've got going on here on the capture side. Today is really going to be a little bit of a hybrid, so we are going to do a little bit of training. But even if you are not a GovDash customer, you're going to get a lot out of this because it's going to show you the art of what is possible. Which is what I'm really excited about because if you don't see it for yourself, then it's really tough to know really what the possibilities are. And we're at a really exciting point with technology within our industry where so much more is possible than what was possible before. All right, next slide, please. Again, my name is Meryl Angela Cola. For those of you that I don't know here, I'm again the Vice President of GovDash. What that really means, though, is that I've been in our industry in GovCon for the last 20 plus years, quite literally over half of my life now, because I just turned 39. So I have grown up in the industry. This is where I spent my career. I started out as a recruiter, actually. I moved to Colorado and took a random job because I wanted to live in another state. It happened to be for a company that sold to the government. And like many of us here, accidentally found myself in GovCon. But it's been a long and really, really rewarding career across proposals, capture, delivery, and contracts, which is one of the reasons I joined GovDash because I believe all of those things are connected and everybody contributes to winning contracts within an organization, and we deserve tools that bring all of those together. If you were not with us, excuse me, last time, we did a GovDash 101 session. That's available for recording on our website and our events page. So check that out if you haven't. We are going to be doing these once a month. Today is the Capture Cloud deep dive. So we're going to go really in detail to what we do on the capture side and some of the workflows that capture teams will use in their day-to-day to gather information to prepare for their proposal. But if you want an overall view of GovDash, go check out GovDash 101. It's a great starting point. And we will send out a link to that after this call. Great. And then in our chat, you guys will be interacting, not live, but they'll be gathering your questions. We've got our PROTeam standing by. This is one of the things that makes GovDash really special. In addition to our technology, we also really lean on industry experts and people that have been in the trenches doing what you do every day. So this is our PROTeam. They are a group of folks that support you on the customer-facing side. Everything from our account managers who will manage your account through the life of its contract, to our onboarding specialists who take your team from start to finish when you first join us and give you a really good foundation, to our live support that is human and in person, not 24/7, but during business hours, and then after hours for surge support as well. These are the folks that you'll be working with. And combined, we've got, over 100 years of experience here across proposals, capture, and delivery. All right. And what makes this special is that not only are we providing you with software that is helpful and the technology is top notch. It is driven and scoped by industry experts who are talking to you in the trenches. So really all these things together make GovDash an experience. All right. So for those of you who did not join us for GovDash 101, or maybe you're not customers, just an overall view, and then we're going to get right into the demo piece. GovDash at its core is an operating system for GovCon BD teams. Now, this is a little bit overarching. What this means is we believe everybody is on the growth team when you're within a GovCon organization. To break that down, we believe that everybody contributes to the success and probability of winning. What is really important is the things that AI cannot fake, such as past performance, your relationships, your strategy. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but all of those things contribute to a win, and they start way before the proposal does. And that is why GovDash has gone beyond just a proposal AI support software. And we really focus on the whole life cycle. And I promise you've never seen anything like this before. So even if you sat through lots of demos or lots of trainings on AI proposal tools, this one is going to be different. I'm hoping you guys have a lot of questions as we go, because again, we want this to be the art of what's possible. So we're going to show you a lot of things. We will have questions populated in the chat. We'll pause a few times throughout or at the end to answer these. And then any questions that we don't get to, we will send out. We will answer them and send out in writing afterwards. All right. Okay, some important starting points, and I apologize, guys, I am sick, so this is not an ideal voice to have for a webinar, but we'll get through it. Important starting points here for GovDash. It's a competitive advantage. It is not enough to have it, and this is true for any tool. You have to be able to use it well. So in addition to us having really, really fantastic features that we're going to show you today, we also have a great network and resource pool for learning and education and understanding how these tools work. As technology changes, we're helping you grow with it. Today is going to be one of those educational resources. The big deal here is that the goal is to win the contract. Many tools focus on submitting the proposal rather than winning the contract. What is most important across is that at the end of this, we're going to win, right? And that is really what we focus on, and that we hope we're able to help you guys focus on as well. The things that are not the goal, things like never say no bid again. We want to bid on the right things. Going from start to finish, submission in an hour. You want to spend time on what matters most, and submitting 10 times more proposals, that is not the goal. The goal is to win the contract again. So if you're submitting 10 times more proposals and they're all losing, really that's just time and energy wasted. So every minute that you spend needs to go towards making that PWIN higher and that percentage higher. This matters because, again, what we talked about, capture and solutioning and relationships are still what wins contracts. Anybody these days can submit a proposal that sounds good. They can submit a solution that is probably okay technically, but it's going to be generic. And we bring powerful tech into your familiar processes so that you have the ability to focus more time on the things that are going to matter most and drive the needle without you having to spend a ton of time learning a new way to work. And this is never more true than for capture. Past performance is your real differentiator. AI cannot fake this, and this becomes even more important strategically in GovCon when you have AI and technology. AI and technology levels the playing field, and it's brought a lot of really great advantages to our space, advantages that we've needed, improvements that we've needed for a long time. But if your past performance is not solid, if you don't have good information, if you're not feeding that to AI effectively and using it to make decisions across the board, then your proposal will be generic, right? And your evaluation is going to be generic. And the goal is to get evaluated as highly as possible. And in order to do this, we infuse your team's expertise at every step of the process. This is both functional and customer. So we want to bring in your customer-facing teams, your delivery teams, folks that are on the ground supporting it. Even if they don't have time to utilize GovDash or support the BD process. We understand that. I've worked in this space for a long time. I know how hard it is to, in fact, firsthand, I managed contracts myself at CDC and NIH and NACSA, and it's really tough to walk the halls, manage a contract, and have all of those deliverables on your shoulders, and then at the end of the day, step back and need to write to a proposal or provide customer expertise. It's critical, right? But in the moment, it's not always possible. And so when we are up against a deadline, it is it's make or break, right? How well you've prepared, how well your information is structured, and your team is informed. This is true for AI as well. And so a big component of GovDash is helping you prepare proactively and gather your information about your contracts, your past performance, things that go beyond the PWS, delivery, all of those things, so that when you do have an RFP drop, you've already been solutioning based on your past performance, your intel, and the expertise of your subject matter experts. In addition to that, proposals should reflect clear customer-focused strategy. This comes from capture and solutioning. So before you ever get to the proposal, right, we want to identify the opportunities faster, and we want to be able to talk to the customer before the RFP drops and when we're not able to, and solution and be able to verbalize those to the customer, and get in front of them and work with them a bit. And so all these things are important, and GovDash has ways that we help you get in front of the customer with your solid data. It's one of the things that makes us different. And again, these things are infused throughout GovDash. We're about to launch into a demo here, but these are the important pieces to look for, and we'll point them out as we go through our capture module. All right. I'm going to pause here for questions and to grab water here just for a second. Do we have any questions so far? Great, Michael, I will definitely answer this question here in just 1 second. I'll show you our contract cloud. All right, hold on 1 second. All right, Rob, if you want to share your screen, we'll go ahead and talk through the product. So Michael asked a really good question. What metrics does the AI use to identify a primary contract document upon upload? For example, how would the software read a spreadsheet listing multiple awards with contract numbers listed? I'm sorry, that was Samantha. I apologize. So Samantha, that's a great question. So what you're looking at right here is the GovDash homepage. Over to the left-hand side, we've got several modules. The foundation of everything within GovDash is our contract cloud module. This is one of the things that makes us different. So rather than you having to upload a spreadsheet or having to feed an AI model your past performance every time, we help you build a gold standard record of past performance. This is protected. It grows with you as your company grows, right? It is going to be a record that is easily verifiable, not just for you, but for GovDash and for AI, which is really critical. So we help you set this up in the system and make sure that it's correct. This is a listing of your contracts. You can list both prime and sub. When you upload a contract document, we parse this information in. So we're pulling it in from your contract documents. You're able to modify it and add to it as modifications come up. You can add things like your PWS. You can add things like deliverables, obviously contract mods, things like monthly status reports, CPARs. You're building a record here of really solid information, and it goes along to what we were talking about earlier, where it is really critical to have that information organized so that you can leverage it really well as you are moving forward, right before you get to the proposal phase. All right. For one more question here. Can GovDash help you learn about competitors? So yes, we're gonna get to this here in just a little bit. So if you give me a minute, I'm gonna show you some really cool ways that GovDash is able to help with that here. Robbie, let's go ahead and click over to the Capture Cloud for me. Great. What you guys see on my screen here is our pipeline. This probably looks very similar to something that you've seen in the past, or things that you've worked with in the past. I've used SharePoint. I've used something called Next Stage. I've used a lot of different pipeline tools, Salesforce and things like that. Most pipeline tools, if they're worth their salt, are going to have the key components for them, right? You want a way to track your opportunities. You want a way to progress them through the pipeline and learn more information and track that. You want to be able to see reporting and numbers and all of these things. We provide that here. And any tool that you're using should do that baseline. What makes GovDash really special, though, is that it's not just a pipeline tool. It is made specifically for GovCon. So, Robbie, if you'll switch over to the list view for me. This probably looks a lot more similar to what you're used to if you use SharePoint. We give you multiple views within GovDash. This opportunity module, or our capture module, is not just related to capture. So this is going to follow your opportunity from identification all the way through award when it becomes a proposal, and that is, or when it becomes a contract. So that is one of the things that makes us very different. Your opportunity doesn't have to go from a SharePoint site on a pipeline, then over to another SharePoint site to become a proposal, and then over to another SharePoint site to be an award. You can house these in SharePoint. We integrate with SharePoint, but when you're going through the active BD process, your opportunity can live and gather information in real time and mature and progress from identification all the way through proposal submission, and then finally award when it becomes a contract and goes into that contract cloud that we showed. Within our pipeline here, we've got different phases. These are fully customizable, so you are able to match them to your internal processes. And each opportunity is going to have its own record. So before we show you that, I'm going to switch over to bid match here for a second, and then we'll come back to this record. Bid match is our native tool within GovDash to help you identify opportunities. So we talked for a minute about our contract cloud and past performance. What makes GovDash very different is that we give you the ability to look for contracts, but we also match you with contracts proactively based on your past performance. So because you've taken the time to load your past performance to inform the system, everybody in your organization has access to that, and they can make decisions based on that. And we know that good capture starts with selecting the right opportunities where you have a good story to tell. This is how GovDash helps you with that. So here on my screen, these are opportunities that you didn't have to search for. So if you're a GovDash customer and you have your past performance loaded, GovDash is pulling from both SAM and also, if you connected, eBuy. And we are looking for opportunities that match not just your NAICS code, but also customers that match your body of work based on what you've uploaded to your contract cloud. This is critical because if you're in GovCon, you've been in a situation where you found out about an opportunity too late and everybody's scrambling and they're like, well, how did we miss this one? This is why this was born, right? Because there's only so much time and everybody has so many priorities that you really need technology to help proactively surface opportunities for you. So not only are you able to look for opportunities using our tool and find everything you would find on SAM or eBuy, you're also able to trust that GovDash is proactively looking for you and it's going to be sending you these opportunities when they hit a certain threshold of relevance for you. And let's click into one of those opportunities for me, Robbie. So this is just a draft, right? So it looks like it came through SAM. But what's important is that we give you a lot of information here. So this is not just what you get in SAM. We're going to baseline that, right? So you're going to have all the information you have in SAM, such as the description, such as your documents and things like that. But we also give you information about competitors. If you click on that for me, we are going to look at, for this opportunity, customer. So the customer that is putting out this need, who are the top awarded contractors for this customer with this NAICS code? These can be competitors, or if you're looking for a potential prime or partner, these are great places to start as well. All right. And then if you like an opportunity enough that you'd like to add it to your pipeline, you can. We're going to add this one here just to show how it works. But it's really as simple as clicking a button. And when you move to your pipeline, it's going to be in that first stage. Typically in a capture process, this is where we're evaluating opportunities to see if they're viable to go after. So we're going to have a lot of opportunities in this stage. What's really critical is that you want to make sure that you are getting that down, that list, so that you're only focusing on the opportunities that have the highest chance of winning. So we do some really cool things here to help you with that. When I was in capture, the biggest issue that I had was how do I qualify new opportunities and do all that research and the manual work while also still driving my opportunities forward. So first, we help make the process of the pipeline really, really, really seamless. So you're not having to enter any information manually or update it. If you pull this in from bid match, it's going to update automatically. In addition, we give you a place to track activity. So your team can track tasks as well as like conversations they have or decisions that are made or needs. So this is really handy when you're going through pipeline meetings or when folks are working together and collaborating. You can tag people. It is super handy because it's all there in the opportunity. You're not having to go back and forth between, Teams chats and emails and all of those things. You can keep everything in one place. In addition to that, this is the coolest thing. One of the things that I love. I'm probably going to say that 9 different times in this presentation because there's a lot of things that I love. But whenever you upload an opportunity to GovDash, we automatically shred it for you. And this is true not just in the proposal phase, but also in the capture phase. And this is one of the most valuable things that we bring to the table immediately. As a capture manager, you don't have time to read through every single RFP front to back for everything that comes onto your pipeline in the analysis stage, right, when it enters it. So you're wanting to catch things that are going to preclude you from bidding so that you don't put more resources towards something that you can't even participate in. With GovDash, what we're doing is we're creating this shred. We are taking every single sentence from every document in the solicitation package, and we are flagging the things that are must, shall, will, things that could be risks, task areas, instructions, and evaluation criteria. So you can quickly see them. In addition, it's fully searchable. We also create an Excel spreadsheet so that if you want to share this with somebody outside of your team and give them information, you can do that. And usually a compliance matrix takes many, many, many hours to put together. I speak from experience. We save you those hours, and it used to not be possible to do a compliance shred or anything like that for opportunities that were in capture. It would be a waste of time, to spend a million hours on a draft RFP or previous RFP, but we do that for you. So now you can benefit from it, but we also help do the analysis. In addition to this, we don't just give you the tools to look through an opportunity. We also give you a dedicated chat assistant. Our chat assistant is called Dash, and Dash works across the product and also in Microsoft Word. It has full context into all of your past performance, all of your pipeline, and into the opportunities that records on the page that you are on. So let's say you're looking at this opportunity and you want to assess it and you're the capture manager. You can type things as simple as, why should we not bid this, right? Or what risks? Let's see, why should we not bid this opportunity? And again, this operates a lot like a capture analyst. I use this as a second opinion, right? I want to do my own analysis, but I also want someone else with another set of eyes to help me understand where I might be missing, big risks, right? Or disqualifiers, things like organizational conflict of interest or security clearance requirements or a lot of key personnel. And so when we utilize Dash, it's going to look through your past performance and it's going to look through your capture notes and things like that and compare it against the requirements. And it's going to give you a really good listing of reasons why it would be a great fit for you. Right. But on the contrary, you can also ask it things like, why should we bid this? Right. What would be our positioning? Which is fantastic. And it is super helpful. It will help you think through things that you may not have thought of before. It's always good to work with somebody else, right? And to have sort of a brain trust. And it's even more valuable to have a brain trust that has full knowledge of your past performance and your pipeline. And that's what Dash gives you. In addition, you can see all the sources that we pull from when making a decision. So if you ever want to check behind us and you want to make sure, you have you can verify and full visibility into why we made the decisions that we did. All right. Next is capabilities. So our capabilities matrix, Rob, if you want to click into one that we talked about before so that we can show when that's been finished. Our capabilities matrix is a really, really cool feature that is not only time saving, but really, really fantastic for us quickly assessing opportunities and making sure they are aligned, that you're spending your time on the opportunity to read the best story to tell. With capabilities matrix, these used to take me, I would say, multiple days to fill out if it was a sizable PWS, where I'm mapping our past performance to each task area within a PWS. With GovDash, because you've done that work of uploading your contract inventory and establishing a really strong record of past performance, and because we, behind the scenes, have built in the logic of contract managers and proposal managers and capture managers, we are able to anticipate and assess your capabilities against the things that would matter in a competitive situation. So we are taking all of those task areas and splitting them out for you automatically. And then we're going into your past performance and we are analyzing and providing you with that analysis decision of whether or not you have strong past performance in these areas. You can do this against your entire body of past performance, or you can focus just on one or two contracts if you know what contracts you want. When you click into one of the reasons, it is going to give you that score, but it's also going to give you a generated explanation, right? Which is detailed, and it's going to show you why we made the decision that we did. You can change these certainly if you disagree, which helps GovDash get smarter, but these are very pragmatic too, right? So we are looking really at face value. Is this relevant? Is this recent? And it really is a great risk mitigator, because that is how the government works as well. So we want to make sure that not only do we believe we have this experience, but it's verifiable based on the documentation we have. And this is a great, great risk mitigator when it comes to a team that feels very passionately about an opportunity, but really needs a second set of eyes to make sure that we can back up that our experience is relevant. In addition to this, you're able to export this, which is fantastic. It gives you a really succinct and helpful format that you can share with your teaming partners. You can use this as a response to a data call or as a capabilities brief to try to market yourselves to a prime. You can also use this when you are assessing past performance as a data call, and sending this out to your teammates to also provide their experience within. And this again would have taken me a million years to put together. If you've ever done one of these, you know the pain of that. The fact that this can be done as part of an opportunity assessment for any opportunity that hits your pipeline, no matter how early on in the pipeline phase we are, this is invaluable, right? It is worth any price you pay, because you are going to be able to make better bid decisions and avoid wasting time and money and resources on opportunities where you don't have a good story to tell. On opportunities that you do want to pursue, you're able to identify those gaps much earlier and make sure your teaming partners have what you need to fill those gaps. I can't tell you how many times we get right up until the proposal RFP dropping point and no one's done something like this because there's just been no time. This empowers your organization to get ahead of things. And where this comes in as being extremely valuable is your competitors are not doing this, right? And that's really what it comes down to. Like, do you really want to compete with companies that are doing this without having these tools, if this is possible, with GovDash? And if you have GovDash today, this is what we always tell our customers. It's not enough to have the tools, you have to use them well. And GovDash, just having it is not a competitive advantage, but using it and adopting it into your process is critical. And that is a really, really valuable competitive advantage. Time is the resource that we all have the same amount of. And so when we can get our time back and we can choose to spend it on things that are more strategic rather than spending hours and hours on copying and pasting, that's when we really can move the needle. All right. Let's go back to Capture Cloud. And I'm going to pause here just for 1 second. Let me grab a sip of water so that my voice does not sound so terrible. All right. Hopefully this is a little bit better. Let me pause here for questions and let's see here. What is the source of past performance? Is it the data library and a specific tag? Great question. This is actually all defined within the data library. So your contract cloud is part of the data library. But your contract cloud is the place that is protected, where we know that this is your past performance. So it is anything that you put within your contract cloud, we assume is your past performance, and everything else within your data library, we treat as information. So you can really easily assess, even if you have hundreds and thousands of documents in your data library, unless they're in your contract cloud, they will not be used by GovDash as past performance. All right, and then one more question. Are there any future integrations with agency forecast, FedConnect, Deltek, et cetera? Yes, this is a major priority for us, and we have engineers working on this as we speak, always. So if you have suggestions for some of these, let us know. We're currently working on GovWin right now, sorry. As our first one, we just added eBuy. So it's actually technically our second one. And we were looking to add additionals from there. So please reach out and we'll get those over to our engineers. Awesome. All right, let's switch over to the demo again. All right. So within our record, in addition to shredding an opportunity, once you decided that an opportunity is one you want to go after, right? You've assessed it, you got a reason for it. Now we're going to start the capture process. And this is where most teams in GovCon, it gets a little fuzzy, right? I was a capture manager and a proposal manager, so I know between the two, they were both very hard jobs. But capture was the least defined process within any organization that I worked. And that's just because every opportunity is different. There's no playbook or FAR that defines every part of the capture process. It's people working with people, and people are unpredictable. And really, the worst thing that could happen is that you use your time, if you find an opportunity before RFP release, ineffectively, and don't use it to speak to the customer. Because if you are not talking to customers or partners or maturing a solution during that time, you're going to be competing for sure with companies who are doing that. And again, the goal is not to submit the proposal, it's to win the contract. And so how do we spend this time, whatever amount of time we have, even if it's a week, a month, or 6 months, how do we spend this time most effectively, making sure that we're maturing in our understanding, our knowledge, and our solution from the moment we identify it all the way up to when the RFP drops and we submit the proposal. GovDash has this baked in to help you. So if you look at our capture plan, again, these phases are up to you, so you can name them what you want. But they proceed on a timeline, right? So they're sequential in order. Each one builds on the last. And the idea is, as you're moving closer towards RFP release, you are getting smarter about opportunities. You are understanding more about them, and you are understanding the competitive landscape and knowing what your solution is. So by the time the RFP releases and you are submitting the proposal, you have those things fleshed out and hopefully, talked to about with the customer, or at least analyzed against what you know about the customer. So your solutions are verified. These questions are all based on best practices. So if you're familiar with Shipley, a lot of these will look similar. You don't have to answer all of them, but the goal is for your team to answer as many as they can. It's a fact-finding mission, capture, right? And so this helps people to not get stuck. It helps you to have a next step and a next action, and something tangible to review when you're in these meetings and talk through. You can also ask your own custom questions. So there's fully customizable, you can add them. So if you have special questions that you utilize within your capture process, you can do that as well. Perfect. As you're answering these questions, you are going to be seeing these percentages rise. And this is important because it's been really tough. No matter what tool you use, I've used many of them, but with a pipeline tool, it's tough to really know how far along you are, right? And how mature your solution is and how close to an opportunity you are. But you have to make these decisions because you have limited time and resources. And so you need to be able to say, is this something that's worth going after? How much information do we have? That the RFP is out next week and we only have, half of the analysis questions completed. Maybe we should drop this in favor of other opportunities that we have more time on or that are more mature. Which again is a gate review. So what I'm going to show you here, though, before we get to gate review, is how we help you answer some of these questions. So much of the capture planning process is talking to people and getting to know folks and asking them questions, but there's a lot that comes down to research. And when you're building your call plan, we want to help you find those folks. So you can use Dash for something like this. One of the ways that I really like to use it is to ask, like, who are, the top 3 companies that would be competitive in the space. So we give you a view of this in the bid match, but you can also manually add opportunities from any other source that you want into your pipeline. And so if you want an understanding of what the competitive landscape is, you can utilize Dash with web search. The reason this is powerful is not only does GovDash use what's in GovDash, your past performance, your capture answers, your data library about your companies that you're connected with. We also look on the web and we're able to do a ton of research within a very short amount of time with all of that context. So it has full context into the opportunity we're looking at. And now it's going to the web and is pulling out information about companies that have not only worked with this customer specifically, but that have done this kind of work. It's going to suggest potential primes and partners for you. It will also give you references. You can do additional research and show you its sources. And Robbie, if you click on sources for me, you can see here that it has gone through many, many, many websites much faster than a human would be able to. This is super valuable because not only is your information critical, but the information about the agency and your competitors and other companies that's only available on the internet is going to be important too. Perfect. All right. The other thing I want to show you guys, so we're actually going to put this in Dash right now. So let's say you're building a team when you're going through capture. You can ask it to do something like create a capabilities matrix or a capabilities statement, I'm sorry, showing our experience related to these tasks to send to a potential prime for this opportunity. Now, Dash is going to help you generate long-form content that is going to be tailored not only to this opportunity, but to the company. If you select a company, right, that you want to tailor this to your past performance, this is a really, really great time saver and starting place. You can edit this within what we call our canvas, which is going to allow you to go right from what Dash does into editing and making it better to insert your human expertise, right? And infuse that into the process. You can also export it to Word within your company's template, which is very powerful. If you ever had to format anything in GovCon, this uses your saved styles and your company's branding, and it puts this content into a ready-to-use format. We also give you Dash within Microsoft Word so that you're able to continue to work with that content as well. All right. So these are the main things that we wanted to show you guys today. There's many other things that we can demonstrate. If you're a GovDash customer, please reach out to your account manager and we can show you additional tools. If you're not a GovDash customer, after this call, we're going to link you to some really cool articles and videos to explain some other features that we offer. This is really just the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg. But what we wanted to show you is what's possible so that you can start imagining with us, right? And reimagining your process. Because again, the competitive advantage is not having an AI tool. It's being able to use it and leverage it as much as possible so that you have time to spend and invest on things that move the needle. All right, let me go back to questions. We'll spend the rest of the time here answering a couple of those. So Sean, you asked, can you remove a source if you believe it's referencing something that's not appropriate for the opportunity? Absolutely. So that's why you're able to review sources. And if you believe something is not relevant or it's messing it up, you have absolute ability to take that out. All right. Yeah, so Bill, your question for capture, does GovDash highlight areas of the opportunity that do not align with the company's criteria to provide the capture manager hints on what to try to position and change on the government side? Absolutely. So this is one of my favorite ways to use Dash. And you can ask it that question verbatim, right? It's pretty similar to what we asked before, which is why should we not pursue this opportunity? But you can change that question and say, hey, what are the areas that we would need to influence ahead of the RFP dropping in order to ensure that we're most aligned to win this? And GovDash will give you a very, very succinct and analysis-driven response. When building, the next question, when building a team, can GovDash apply teaming partners contracts as past performance? Yes. So you can utilize this. What we allow you to do or what we facilitate is during the teaming process, you can add their information as a data call. So you can use Dash to create a data call, have them fill it in, or you can take their past performance if they give you a write-up. You can upload it to Dash and ask Dash to map it to the task areas. And then you can upload those documents and that information to your capture plan around the questions that specifically involve teaming. And this is important because you're going to get all kinds of artifacts, all different types of formats. And we want to be able to take all of that really good information as context. And then when you do decide to pursue an opportunity with a partner and you go into the proposal phase, you can then take all that really good information and bring it forward to responding to the proposal. All right, so Jim, you asked, is there a way to hit a kind of easy button in the solutions area to suggest an answer to all questions? That's a really great question. So we don't have that built in right now. We've had a couple of people ask for that. So I know it's something that is on our radar. I will say though, it is very easy and quick to go through and decide which questions you want Dash's help with. One of the reasons we don't do the easy button to submit all of them is because it gives a false sense of security, right? So there are some questions that are more appropriate for research, that information can be found on the web, right? But there's other questions where it really comes down to conversations or a subject matter expert. And what we want to make sure we do is infuse your subject matter experts' opinion or their expertise into those questions so they're not generic. There's a lot of questions where research is fine and you want to do really great research and that's going to be enough. But we don't want to do it for every single question. And so that's still in development right now. We want to determine exactly what questions would be most appropriate for that. And we're doing some testing. I'm doing some testing personally on that, but would love to talk to you about that after if you've got some insight into what you think would be best. All right. My voice is going out, so I think we're going to end the webinar today. That being said, I am really excited to have all of you on. Most of you guys are customers here, and we really enjoy working with you. To reiterate, my team is the PROTeam. We're the folks that you interact with from account management, support, and also onboarding. We are here to help. So if you have questions, this is just the beginning. If this piqued your interest and you're not currently using GovDash for capture, it is one of the most valuable areas within our tool, and you are only getting 50% of the value. So if you want tips on how to integrate this into your capture plan and your capture process, please reach out to us. We will work with you. We've got folks that love capture on the side that will help you turn your GovDash subscription into a real competitive advantage. Thank you, everybody, so much. Please check out our website for additional events. We've got one coming up every week, and we look forward to seeing you there.